Hello, friends.
Hi everyone, how are you? I hope all of you are doing great, especially that it's the weekend.
It's 3:30 in the afternoon. We just watched the Pacquiao fight. Watching it here in the Philippines, though, there is a delay, so it
That's
ends maybe a
true.
couple hours earlier in the United States. And the reason it's a delay is because they show it on free TV here,
Mm-hmm.
which free isn't really free, of course. It costs these
That's
channels
true.
a lot of money to bid for the right to
Yes.
broadcast that. So that means, of course, as with pretty much all these TV stations, other than the subscription ones like HBO, you have to have commercials. So that's why there's a delay after every round. There's like 3-4 minutes of commercials,
Mm-hmm.
and when they start the broadcast, I believe, at the same time. But then as it goes, it keeps getting more and more delayed, especially through the undercard fights with all those commercials in between rounds. That by the time Pacquiao starts fighting here, it's already over in the U.S. or probably getting close to finishing.
And speaking of Pacquiao Bradley fight, congratulations to you, Manny Pacman Pacquiao! Yoo-hoo!
He had
Mabuhay ang Pilipinas!
a well, he had a good fight, and they said that this might be his last fight. I don't know if that's true. I don't
That's
think
what they
people really
said. I
take
think that's
these.
what he said as well.
So we'll see, but if he goes out, it's a good one to go out on because he had a dominant performance. I'm not the biggest Pacquiao fan or boxing fan because I like MMA better, especially
I
coming
know that.
from a wrestling background. You can see those skills in MMA, but boxing's fun. If it's going to be on free TV, a big fight, I'm going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I was rooting for Pacquiao. Why was I not rooting for the American guy? Well, I don't know much about the American guy, to be honest with you, so
You're
that's all it
American,
is.
but you don't know him as well as
Yeah,
Pacquiao.
I'm more familiar with Pacquiao. Some people, they said you should root for an American, not a foreigner, a Filipino. But I mean, come on, it's not a big deal. I'm familiar with Pacquiao. He seems like a pretty good dude. So
Mm-hmm.
hey, why not? Why not root for the guy?
Exactly.
I respect all those guys, regardless, win or lose.
Mm-hmm. Hey, do you see that there are already cool people joining us right now?
Children of the Sun, the BMW man, 94. Does that mean his BMW was made in the year 1994, a 94 model?
Maybe.
Joe Sapienza
Uh-huh.
and Jaron Patton. Well, thanks for joining us,
Hi
guys. There's going to
there.
be more guys joining us. Bruce Cunningham checking in.
Welcome,
No,
welcome,
I
and
take it no relation to Richie Cunningham,
happy days.
which which we had to explain what that was to someone in one of the recent videos when my cousin was here. We can talk about my cousin's trip. We can even discuss, even though we don't. This isn't a political channel, and we try to avoid that subject. We can also maybe discuss the man that Scott Baio from Happy Days is endorsing to be the next president. And
Mhm.
like we don't endorse any political candidates here, but we can talk about some other interesting aspects of that.
Yeah. Well, Travis, all of them who are joining us right now, their comments are asking how we are. We are doing great. Thank you. Hope you guys are doing great as well. And while you're doing something on the computer, let me just start saying hi, hello, and thank you so much to the members of our Patreon family. First, thank you to Chris Vinci, Brian Michalup, Jim Malloy, Steve Dorgos, B.W. Barnes, Pastor Kurt, Video Love, Scott Dallin, Raymond D'Alessandro, Kyle Banchi, and to your wife, of course, Tina, Edward Latswig, Koroiwa, Robert Gaston. For the rest, I'm going to greet them. Terrence Brown, and you want me to keep
Josh
going?
Hayes, Dan Marino, Audrey Brown, David Haley, Nolan Johnson, G. Mac K, Sandy Rodriguez, David, Joey Galan, Scott, David Hubbard, George, Richard Bautista, Douglas O'Donnell, Ed Navarro, Frank Williams, Mark Bringus, and Dwayne Hout. Wow, that's a long list of
I
names of people
know
supporting us.
they're very special to us, and I would say very special to you as well because it's because of them, our Patreon family, that we're able to keep making videos for you guys to entertain you, to inform you, to inspire you in every way we can. And since I already started mentioning our Patreon family, you can also be part of our Patreon family, and you can check that out on the description.
And I always say money is a terrible reason to start a YouTube channel. If you start a YouTube channel thinking that you're going to make money, it's a really bad reason, and it's not going to work out. However, money is a necessary element to run a YouTube channel, especially if you want to take it to the next level and really play with the big boys. You got to invest money into this. And actually, right now we're talking on a new computer that my cousin Tom brought out. I needed a new computer. I mean, you have necessary expenses like that. That's something that wasn't seen in the vlog, all the things that we had Tom bring us from the United States.
Yeah,
but
just like this.
And I've hardly used this oh, your shirt.
And this. Thank you,
yeah.
Tom.
I have a shirt that says coffee, yet I don't drink coffee myself.
I do drink coffee.
She's a coffee drinker.
That should be mine, but that's big.
She loves coffee, but me, I don't drink the stuff. It kind of grosses me out. It's not a beverage that I enjoy personally.
Yeah, so Tom, if you're watching, hi to you, Super Cos, and super happy birthday to you, Erin Riley.
So this is a new computer. I've barely used it. Hopefully it's working, but used my that he's calling right now.
We should pick up, I guess. Hold up. Oops.
Oh.
Where is it?
My cousin Tom
there
was just calling.
Let me see. I have to. Okay,
and some people they asked.
Should I call him?
Yeah, call him.
Okay.
Some people they asked, did Tom have a good time on his trip to the Philippines? And did he have a good time? Well, with us showing him around, of course. Think about this. His first day in the Philippines, he gets an award from the government. That's pretty good. How many people come here and get that kind of treatment? But of course, it's because he's associated with us.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to call Tom back because I think I missed his call. So we can also.
We have someone that's coming to Manila on Thursday night.
That's so soon then.
Well, welcome. We're sure you're going to have a great time.
Yes, hi Tom. Here we go, Travis. You should tell Tommy.
What's up, Tom?
What's up, dude?
I gotta warn you, you're live on the air right now. We answered your call on the air.
That's good. That's good.
Can you see it?
I gotta warn you too about some things.
Okay. On the air though, we're actually on
live.
So this conversation's being broadcast live on the internet right now, Tom. So we just got to give you that heads up.
You can say hi to everyone joining us on this live stream now.
Hey, to all the people that I thought I was a jerk, I'm not.
I don't think that many people thought you're a jerk. See, Tom's not used to. It's like 3 people, but that's out of thousands of people. And I tell you, doing this, you're always going to have people interpreting things the way they want to interpret things from their mindset. And people are always going to go in looking for some fault to find with you and to tell you why they're superior than you in their own little way.
I want to say one thing. I make fun of everything all the time.
Exactly.
Like, talking to my neighbor friend a little earlier, and I'm like, oh, look, everyone does accents. Everyone does, like, pretends, like, and has fun and is joking around. Just because I did one accent doesn't make me making fun of that certain people. Like,
true.
I could do a country accent. I could be like, "Hey, how are you doing there?" You know, like it doesn't make me making fun of people from Montana. It's just me having fun.
What, Tom?
But I read some of the comments, and it's like, dude, like all I did was go on vacation and chill with my cousin.
Yeah.
Well, what Tom is referring to is, especially in the one video of us taping the TV show, here's what a lot of you guys don't know about Tom, because you don't know him, of course, is he's always joking around. This guy's my funniest relative, and he's always joking around. He's always goofing on things. And some people thought, oh, he's mocking Filipinos, or he's mocking the African guy. He's just mocking things in general because that's what he does. And I remember I remember watching movies with you when we were young. We used to watch Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, and you liked the movies. We all liked the movies, but you would sit there and make funny comments during the movie, kind of making fun of the movie, kind of like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing. And it made us enjoy the movie at a new level because it turned it into a comedy as well.
Oh, hold on. Let me just read one comment from.
I just want to make sure people know that I'm not making fun of a certain people or a certain anything. I just go around and
He makes fun of things in general just to add humor and spice to life.
Yeah, Tom makes fun of himself as well.
I can't help it.
Yeah, anyway. Tom is just a funny guy. Tom, let me interrupt you for a bit. One of the people joining us now said, Children of the Sun said, Tom was awesome. So, those are but a few people who just said the other way. But yeah, Tom is a super coolest cousin.
I don't.
That's better to hear than I won't even say it.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you wanna tell everyone while you're still?
Yes, I want to tell everyone happy birthday, Aaron.
Oh, thank you. I'm not sure if Erin is watching right now, but we'll tell her.
And I want to adopt the sack man. I want to take her. I want to put her in my pocket and take her home with me. And live with her forever and ever.
That's so sweet. Okay, hold on. Yeah, we'll tell her that.
We will.
Okay. Well, let me see.
Right.
Tommy,
Okay.
We're gonna call you again.
We'll call you when this is over.
Yeah, you'll be up late anyways, right? Okay, we love you.
Tom.
Bye-bye.
Love you. I just noticed here, it's like we're only in half of the box of the player. And like I said, this is a new computer. I reinstalled my broadcasting software, so sorry about that. I don't know what's going on, but I know it's kind of weird the way we're off in the corner.
We're trying this, and hopefully you hear us well and you see us clearly. So I guess that's still fine.
And Celeste Lavie says, you have any more relatives visiting the Philippines? Would love to see more videos with relatives. Well, thank you very much for that show of support. And I'm not sure it's possible, or probably what's more possible or probable would be my dad coming back.
That's true.
Which would be fun to do. Those videos are very popular. But Tom's not used to the YouTube world, how people can interpret things in their own way and craziness like that. Even me, I've gotten an extraordinary amount of hatred lately, and it's mostly from that one video that I did before Tom came here, where we just went and walked through Manila, like by Baywalk in that area, kind of the older part, or by the bay, not necessarily the oldest part. But
it's like in Malate, Ramita.
Yeah, that area where we just kind of went and walked around. And a lot of people, here's the thing, when I uploaded that video, I was surprised by the reaction I got when my subscribers were watching it. And they're like, oh, this is one of your best videos. Oh, I'm so happy you made this video. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect that reaction. I thought it's a good video, but people liked it more than I thought, my regular viewers. But now it's kind of in this YouTube system where people are watching it that aren't part of my regular audience. And I'm getting a ton of hatred for that video. And it's because people are very sensitive. They can't handle me telling the truth and actually trying to point out an issue that we need to work on to make better, which is the pollution and littering problem. And the thing is, it's disparaging because they get angry at me that is addressing the problem and trying to educate people so it's something that we can work on and actually fix.
True.
But they're angry at me thinking that I shouldn't show it and stuff. And they're not angry at the people actually doing the polluting. Mm-hmm. They're okay with that, apparently. They're angry at the guy showing it, trying to address the problem so we can fix it. And that's common Filipino attitude, unfortunately. That's one of the bad things about this country. I think the worst thing Being totally honest, the worst thing I think about this country and what is keeping it from progressing further, contrary to what most people will tell you, it's not the government, it's the mentality of the people, the pride. The pride can be such a terrible thing that really holds you back from improving. And I see, as an outsider, I see that that's what's happening here. That sensitivity, that attitude of we shouldn't actually fix problems, we should just try and hide them as best we can, and anyone that exposes the problem in an attempt to educate people and actually solve the problem, they're the bad ones, not the ones actually creating the problem. So it's that attitude.
Yeah, some people, or some Filipinos in particular, they think that when you expose something like that, it's like embarrassing the people of the country. It's actually not that. I mean, as a Filipino, we also need some, wake-up call, some kind of a wake-up caller just to remind us that those things really happen. And since those are happening, we should do something about it. It should start from us, not only the government, I guess. And before I forget, hello to you, Nicole Cameron from Australia. She actually shared the link to our live stream on Facebook.
Very cool. I just have no idea why we're off in the corner like this for the video.
I know. How about you guys? How do you see our monitor? Are we do we fill up the entire screen? Also, do you hear us well? So we just want to make sure that you are really getting, a clear signal. You really are able to communicate well with you guys.
Well, doing these live streams on YouTube, it seems like there's always a technical problem. They've never, ever since they've introduced this live streaming to YouTube years ago, they've never made it an easy system. However, supposedly they're going to be coming out with an app for the phone that's going to make live streaming easier. And that we haven't done live streams lately, but people really like them. It's a different way to engage with people.
Yeah, I like it because I think we get to talk to you in a more personal manner, even if it's just online, it's virtual. And in addition to what you just said, I think it's not only YouTube not being able to perfect this system for the live streams. I think another factor is the internet connection. I just really wish we did a live stream when we were in Singapore, and I would really want to see if there's any difference, because I remember when Travis uploaded a video when we were in Singapore, it was so fast. It was uploaded right away, and if it was done here in the Philippines, it could have been really very slow. And that's one thing that I hope the internet would also get really better in the future, in the near future. And Travis is not here because he's trying to take care of the battery. We're going low with our batteries, so he's going to charge so we can keep talking to you guys. And meanwhile, let me try to look at some comments, and hopefully we can really read all your comments one by one, considering the time. Let me see. Let me try to catch up. Hello to the new cool people joining us on this live stream right now. Hello to you, Christopher Hale and Ed Lax. Hi, Travis and Imabelle. I'm glad I caught you live tonight. We are glad that you caught us live tonight. That's true. Hello to you, Chris Ray. Oops, what was that? Where am I now? Oops, sorry.
I have no idea.
Okay, I'm sorry. Did I press something? You should close something because it might interrupt. Okay, where am I? Bruce Cunningham, phone number. Oh, thank you for the contact. You can send us a message, a private message later, so we can, arrange the schedule. And okay, can you try to go up first? Because I think I missed the other names and messages. Patricia Leviste, thank you for joining us. And who else? Feel free to leave a comment.
Feel free to keep commenting, guys. We'll keep talking.
Anything under the sun, and we'll address that as much as possible. If it's a mathematical formula computation, I'm not sure if we could address that. Just kidding. It says Prem Chandrasekaran. Prem Chandrasekaran. Good morning from Dubai. Keep up the good job. Looking forward to more videos. Thank you, Prem. Hello to all of you there in Dubai. There are many Filipinos in Dubai.
We're international here.
I know. And what else? I'm trying to, because it's so fast.
Well,
it really moves so fast.
let's address a few things.
Sure.
If you saw that last vlog with the guys from Les Mis and my dad in it, I think that was a good one. It was a lot more talky than most of the vlogs are because I showed part of the interview I did with the guys from Les Miserables.
Yeah, hello to you, Hugo and Tamlin.
Yes.
From Les Mis.
And those guys were awesome. And mainly we talked about a lot of different things, but what you saw in the video, what I included was a lot of talk about YouTube. So I think that's definitely a good video to watch, especially if you're interested in making YouTube videos or if you just want to know some of like the behind the scenes of doing this. And someone wants us to go back to the pride thing. I can get back to that. Travis from Australia, hi.
Oh, Travis Eddington, it says. We have the same first name.
But the guys from Les Mis, they were cool. But if you're interested in YouTube, definitely watch that one because it gives some great tips. Aside from just celebrating some of the success that I've been fortunate enough to have. And the reason I've had this was a couple reasons. First of all, I'm good. Although I think that as good as I am, I should be more popular, but you have to do other things. It's not just about being good. And I address some of that. I give some helpful pointers. One of the things I gave is use negative sounding titles for the video. That's more likely to get you more clicks and shares, even though my videos are very positive. The problem with that is you do get a lot of hatred from ignorant people that don't even watch the video and click it. You have to, the bottom line is a title and thumbnail, it has to be intriguing to get people to click on it. And me, I don't do this channel for money. I do it because it's for the love of it. It's how I express myself as an artist, and it's really from my heart. But it's nice to get lots of views. Although when I make videos, I know beforehand a lot of the videos I make, they're not going to get a lot of views, but they're just things that I want to do, especially a lot of the ones in my vlog series. They're things that I want to express and put out into the world, even though I know I could get more views doing something completely different. If I want to get I've always said this, if I want to get lots of views, I wouldn't do this channel the way that I do it. I would do some BuzzFeed type thing, something
mystical videos, or
the type of BuzzFeed pop culture like stuff, the really stupid stuff like that, and that appeals to a lot of people. But I wouldn't feel fulfilled as an artist or creator doing that. So
that's true, and this is not about the money, but the reality is, for us to be able to keep making these videos, we also need money, right?
But it takes money to run a YouTube channel, especially if you want to be especially if you want to compete with like the bigger, higher end channels. It's a necessary element. Like I said, if you're starting a YouTube channel because you think you're going to make money or get rich somehow, it's never going to work out. It has to really be for the love of it. However, it definitely takes money to keep running it. Having to buy new equipment like this computer. The next thing I want to buy is a new camera. I want to buy the new Canon G7X. I had access to that old one to that other one for a few months and fell in love with it. But that one didn't belong to me. That belonged to Canon. So I had to give that back. So now that's gone. But they're coming out with a new model that I'm going to want to buy, even though it's like a $700 camera. Pretty expensive camera for a point and shoot. But it's like the cream of the crop in that. And it's an amazing camera. It's not a perfect camera, but it's amazing. It's another one that I would want to add to my arsenal of gear that I use to run this channel.
Well, here's the thing. This is just the thought that came to mind. I don't want to forget this. It is really very heartwarming to know that we're getting your love, your support, just a simple comment that you leave, simple thank you, you're great, you're good, keep up the good job. These are really very, very, they're really heartwarming. I mean, that just inspire us more to keep, running the channel. But the question is, we have to we have to spend to keep
Yeah.
running the channel. So let me ask you, so they can also know, how are we able to keep running the channel, and how do we raise the money we need to run the channel?
Tom is calling again.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that's been a great help,
I know. Let me just keep going.
one thing that's been a great help, of course, is our Patreon. That people that have been, I haven't really pushed it lately, and I know a lot of people on YouTube have Patreon these days. Even that's how I found out about it. A creator that I was watching started one, a guy from Seattle, and that's thankfully that gave me the idea because it's definitely helped me out, but it's not like it covers all my expenses of doing this, but it's definitely been a help. And crowdfunding in this day and age for creators like myself has really been a godsend, and just the support. The other way that creators, and here's the best way, and I would say, as I was saying before, don't start a YouTube channel if you think you're going to make money. I'd say the exception to that rule is if you have a business or a product.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you sell makeup. You manufacture makeup products like lipsticks, mascara, whatever.
T-shirts.
Then starting a YouTube channel would be awesome because you can get someone doing makeup tutorials showing the products. That would be a good part of your business plan. But if it's a channel like this that's a personal channel or a personality channel, don't do it. But you're starting to see more and more YouTube creators because you can't really make enough money. You can't make enough money off the little ads on the bottom of the video. To sustain it, you need other sources of income, especially if you want to be a full-time creator. So what you're seeing on YouTube is everyone has something to sell, and I don't yet, but I need to. I really need to, because that's how you're going to take your channel to the next level. But what's kind of sad in a way is you're going to see more and more of that, and it's almost like YouTube's going to be the home shopping network. And the reason it is it's not the fault of the creators, it's because that's the situation that we're into. So either that, or you have to do sponsored videos, which is good too, because then the creator doesn't. It's good and bad, because a lot of people they're sponsored by companies and products that they would never really use and don't believe in, and they're just hawking that crap off to people just so they can get money to be able to run their channel and keep making their videos. So you have things like that. And the advantage of, if you do have your own product, it's probably a product that you believe in and personally oversee, and you're probably just going to work harder to sell it than trying to be sponsored by a company that you don't really believe in. And now that, I'm sorry, I was reading the comments.
Yeah, but actually sponsorships can also work. That's another that can also help, creators, YouTubers to keep running their channel.
It's great when creators can get those.
Yeah, but
that's another issue. They either have to chase them down or have people come to them, and that takes you away from actually creating content. Unless you're a huge channel and you have a sales team.
That's true.
Someone doing that. If you're one of these mega channels that has millions of subscribers and gets millions of views in every video, you can have a separate person doing that. Or if you're at that level, you're just getting companies coming to you. But I recently, a number of months ago, hit 100,000 subscribers, and I think subscribers, they're actually overrated. They're important. It's an important statistic, but people put too much emphasis on it. But what changes once you get to 100,000 subscribers is people look at your channel differently. They take it more seriously. So I'm hoping, and this hasn't happened yet, even though we actually hit 100,000 subscribers a while ago now, I'm hoping that somehow we can attract sponsors in the future that can help us meet our needs. And that doesn't necessarily mean sponsor us with money either. It can be like, if it takes care of some of our expenses, that would be great, because there's a lot of things I want to do with this channel and kind of take it to the next level. And even if I could get sponsors just to cover some of my expenses of making some of the things that I want to make and doing some of the things I want to do with this channel, that would work out too fine.
Yeah, so basically those are the ways for you to be able to, to run a channel, to keep running a channel. Sponsorship, fund, what do you call that?
Crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding campaign, and what else? yeah, I was like, I'm kind of preoccupied with something I wanted to say earlier, but yeah, so that is why we, like, and why I always say, my endless thanks to our patron family. They've, they've always been an inspiration to us. And of course, you guys who keep viewing, sharing the videos, who comment on the videos, just, share the love, share them on Facebook, anywhere that you can share it, because I just really think and I believe that the content that we have on the channel are not merely just for entertainment. They are really very, they're very helpful in terms of giving information. They're inspiring, and that's what we also hear and get from the messages that we get, that Travis gets. Travis gets tons of messages every day asking for travel tips, advice, where to go, how to be safe, and all that. And also just heartwarming messages. So thank you so much. And if you guys, since you've been hearing the Patreon, well, our Patreon family, thank you. Some of them I think are joining us. I saw a message from Steve Dornbus.
Oh, really?
Did I pronounce your last name right?
Dornbus.
Dornbus. Okay.
I don't think I saw his comment.
I think he said something like, "Wow, the signal is good." I think so. He asked what we're using.
Some
right
people
now.
are saying it's choppy.
Oh yeah.
I think the internet kind of like
I know.
comes and goes a little bit. Hopefully the recording plays smoothly.
Yeah, to check out our Patreon, that's patreon.com/craft. Yeah, I guess if you are still trying to think of what to talk about next.
Well, like I said, I just want to tell everyone. Hopefully we land some sponsors. Like I said, at least, and it doesn't have to necessarily be money, but covering some of the expenses of some really awesome videos that I want to make.
Like when we go out on trips, that could be like, hotel accommodation. That could be airfare.
Yes.
That could be anything that could be useful while we
Food,
shoot
vlogs
whatever. And documentaries. The one thing about sponsorships, though, is, even if you already have a big channel, there can just be people who can be flaky and inconsistent in terms of dealing with. They would say yes, not for now, but
It's
eventually, they would just be, they cannot just be reached. You wouldn't hear from them again. So
doing business in the Philippines and trying to work with Filipino companies, and this is something, of course, I have a lot of experience of, and I think it's Asian culture, but definitely Filipino culture at least. They'll say yes when really they mean maybe, or even no. They'll still tell you yes to something, and it's one of the most frustrating aspects of trying to work here.
One funny experience, I think, there are a few who they would set a meeting with us, like a meeting over dinner or something like that. It's like, just like what he said. I agree with Travis. Sometimes I think they just really want to meet you.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. But I guess if there's really nothing,
they should be honest and say, I just want to meet you
from the get-go. So
we had an incident like that recently where a company wanted to meet me about sponsoring me or hiring me to do some videos for them, but it never ended up happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's because when we went to the meeting and they took us out to dinner, I got the feeling that they weren't serious about doing projects with me. Just some people from the company just wanted to meet me and have an excuse to take me out to dinner and just meet someone that they watch. Mm-hmm. But it felt like that. It was just like a fan meetup and not a legitimate business meeting.
They could simply tell us that they just want to meet us over dinner, and that can still be fine, right? I mean, as long as there's no conflict with the schedule, as long as it's legit, safe, and wholesome. I don't see anything wrong with that. Our Patreon family, we meet them when they come visit the Philippines. In fact, a few of them, we've met them every time they come here, as long as our schedules meet. And just supporters giving us some love. I saw a comment from one of our from one of the very cool people joining us right now, asking if they could meet us when they come here in the Philippines. That is possible,
I
of
didn't
course.
see it.
Yeah, I just can't remember the name. We'll try to find that among all these comments right now. It just runs so fast. They run so fast, the comments. And yeah, you
Someone-
can send us a private message, and from there we could, we'll see.
Bruce Cunningham asks, are you on Wi-Fi or wired internet right now? We are on Wi-Fi. I've tried like the wired internet. I don't think it really makes a difference. I've tried both.
I like this question from Yakov Abdullah Muhammad. From what I see on your videos, Travis, are you an artist and videographer and actor? Let me answer that. This is we work as a team, and also I also manage Travis's acting, acting career, modeling career, video projects, and everything. Travis is a model, a host, an actor, a model, a YouTube star, an athlete. By the way, he's a three-time U.S. state
Well, I'm not
wrestling
an athlete
champion.
anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, I was just trying to segue to saying that Travis is a three-time state wrestling champion, and that's so cool, right? And yeah, he does a lot of things. He does the post-production.
I'm a Renaissance man. Yes, I'm a videographer, an
Yes.
actor, a host. I do
Mhm.
talks.
He does the music
I do a lot of
scoring,
different
the
things.
editing, on
I don't do the
behind
music
the camera.
scoring.
No, I mean not scoring, like just to
I research
choose.
places
yeah,
where
but
I can get
I know,
music
but you
legally.
you use
Legally.
it in your.
Yeah, I have to find
be
music I can
legal.
use legally.
Yeah, and you gotta have that. If you don't know which will fit, you have to be an artist for that, I would say. Yeah.
I'm all those things. I'm a Renaissance man,
Ooh.
and
Yeah.
they're all related things too.
That's true. And yeah, maybe we can try to read more comments.
These days, I think you have to be, especially if you're going to do something in the creative field, you got to
Uh-huh.
do more than one thing. You can't just be a photographer. You also have to be a videographer. You also have to be a web
A
designer.
marketing
You have to be a
person.
marketing person. If you're going to run a YouTube channel, you got to be, unless, like I said, unless you're some huge channel that has a budget where you can hire a team of dedicated people, you have to be your own marketing person. You have to be your own graphic designer. You have to be your own video editor, your own camera operator most of the times. You have to be so much different stuff if you're going to do anything in a creative field professionally these
Yeah.
days.
Travis, I noticed that some of the people joining us tonight are from Australia. Travis Eddington
Very
is
cool.
from Australia. Kurdacha Man, hi from Maroochydore in Australia. Did I pronounce it right? I hope so. Okay, so we have Lester Servito joining us. Isaiah Garcia is also with us. Cesla yeah, okay. Am I missing anything so far? And Scott Parnell says hi. Oh, Scott said, yes, the screen is small. That's weird, huh?
It is weird. I'll
But-
figure it out for next time, guys.
Yeah, even if it's small, as long as you see us clearly and you hear us clearly, I think that would work. That serves the purpose, I guess. And, okay, oops. What else? Let me
Someone
see.
requested another cooking video. I haven't done one of those in years.
There's one that you did that was actually um,
I don't think I've done
a
one since.
Filipino information agency, but not like a
Oh
complete
yeah,
tutorial.
that wasn't really. I wasn't really cooking. That was just the
Yeah.
intro. I haven't done a cooking video since 2008. The last one I did, it's on this channel. It's called Salo Salo. It came out good, but as an artist, I don't really like to repeat myself, and I've never had a regular series until recently with the life vlog. And with the life vlog, I try and come at it from the perspective that each one is a documentary film. Yes, it's about me personally, and it's still vlogging, but I try and treat it as a documentary film and try and give the audience things that they can learn, as well as entertainment from it.
Yeah. Let's say hi to Frank Williams. He's one of our Patreon He's one of the members of our Patreon family. He said, hello, Travis and Ima from Frank in Cebu. Wow, you're in Cebu now. Enjoy your stay in Cebu. And what else do we have here?
Someone asks, Lester Servito asks, have I tried balut yet? Yes, I have on a number of occasions. I even have a
Yes.
video doing that from a few years ago. I like it. The only problem is balut is served steaming hot, and when you're in a hot climate like this, you don't necessarily want to eat a food that's steaming hot. So I would probably eat it on a regular basis if I was in a cold climate. I think it's something that'd be really good if you're in a cold climate, but when you're hot and you're sweating, you don't want someone to hand you like a piping hot
Hmm.
duck egg or chicken egg.
Yeah. I like this one comment from Selphonius. Selphonius. Love the hotel reviews. Well, we love doing that as well. So hopefully we can do more of that.
Yeah, we get a lot of crap over that one of us at Hotel Sogo too. But I think there are people like, yo, they're cheap. They should stay in a five-star hotel. First of all it was hot at night. I just wanted to walk over to a nearby place and sleep in an air conditioner. And they're like, oh, they didn't even know that this is a motel, not a hotel. First of all, in the United States, the way you're using that term is silly because it doesn't motel doesn't mean in the United States what it means here. And the name hotel is actually in the name, Hotel Sogo. But anyways, I know what kind of place it is. I've stayed there a lot actually. Always had a good time. This was the first time I had an experience that wasn't really up to par. And the bottom line is, to be fair, whenever we called the front desk and let them know there was a problem, they took care of it. And some people are like, they're complaining about. We're not complaining, you idiots. When you have a problem, they don't know there's a problem. You have to let them know there's a problem. That way,
Yeah.
they can solve it. It's not complaining. Now, if I just complained about it and didn't actually give them a chance to rectify the problem, that would be different.
Yeah, that's true. And people still say, oh, that has a bad image because that place is cheap, it's not really whatever. But the hotel is trying to market themselves as a family hotel.
Yeah, and it's like if we didn't have a good experience, some of the viewers, because of that prideful element, they take it as you're insulting the whole company instead of just pointing out a reality about a company's business
Yeah, it was a balanced
in a fair
review.
and honest
It's
review.
a balanced review actually. It's not just all about just trying to highlight, magnify the not so good things because I think it's always best to have room for improvement and right?
For the hotel.
Yeah, in general.
My
Actually,
video's
in
on
general.
point. I'm very
Yeah.
proud of that video. It was an interesting story. We didn't even intend to shoot an entire video about that hotel. That was just going to be part of a vlog. But as we were there, the way the story unfolded, it was so interesting and we documented it. And it made for a really interesting video.
Yeah, and of course, it's not only we do reviews of those budget hotels in high-end hotels because the viewers, you guys are mixed. You would want to be open to, staying in a budget hotel, in a high-end fancy hotel. So we're giving you both of these sides.
Someone
So-
says here, James, he says, hey, Trevor. Who's Trevor?
James, it's Travis.
I don't even know if I should answer this question now, calling me Trevor.
It's okay.
It's
come
right.
on.
It's on the name right below the video player. The
Maybe
name
it's
is right
an
there.
autocorrect. Okay, James.
Someone else
said-
says, "Who is Trevor?" Yeah, I know Trevor.
Anyways,
Who is Trevor?
let me ask-
Trevor, are you here? So, hey, someone wants you, Trevor. If you're around, please jump in. Someone has a question for Trevor.
Okay, let's just try to read James' M1007 message. I'm 26 years old and I want to travel to the Philippines and stay with a family in Antipolo City. Do you have any positive comments about it? Maybe negative?
Well, I don't necessarily have any positive nor negative comments. Definitely no negative comments, but positive comments. It's a little bit more rural, I would say, correct? A little bit away from the hustle and bustle of the city.
Yeah.
So it's good if that's what you're looking for. But if you want to be in the heart around a lot of businesses, maybe somewhere else would be better to stay. But if you're staying there for free, maybe that's important to you and that's what works for you.
That can just be a long travel, I think, from there to go to other places.
If you're trying to get to like
as a tourist,
Makati or
to go around.
especially Quezon City.
Yeah, I would say the best area to stay when you come visit say you don't really know anyone and just wanna be comfortable and be safe, would be Quezon City or Makati. I think so.
Depending on what you're
Yeah.
looking
What do-
for. If
yeah,
you want to stay in the city,
that's
at least
true.
if you want to stay in Metro Manila,
Yeah,
the best places.
that's just personal preference.
Depending on what you're looking for, usually, unless you have a specific reason to be in a specific area. Quezon City and Makati are, I'd say, the best places. Also, Taguig,
Yeah,
which is
Taguig,
by
which is
Makati.
near Makati. And
But they're all pretty similar, especially Makati and Quezon City. They're basically the same thing, only maybe a half hour away from each
yeah,
other.
but if you would be able to stay with a friend or a relative, that would be the best, of course. You'd really be safe, right? I mean,
Yeah, if you're staying with a friend and it saves you money, that could be a huge factor. Because unfortunately, and I was thinking about doing a video, what are the worst aspects of the Philippines for tourists? And one of the top things I would put on that list is hotels. To get for the type of country this is, for a place that's supposed to be cheap, hotels here are very expensive. To get a decent hotel, you're going to have to spend $50 to $100 on average in Metro Manila. And I think that that's ridiculous because you can go and get a Motel 6 in the United States in most places for like $40, $45. You know, outside of like Chicago or LA, San Francisco, outside those major cities. A Motel 6 or something on that level, it's probably going to cost you $40 to $50 on average. And here it's like you got to pay in between 50 and 100 just for a decent hotel room in most cases.
Yeah.
Now there's exceptions to that. Some are going to be you can find good places less. Some you're going to have to pay more. Tom paid over $100, I think, a night where he ended up staying.
yeah, but that was actually like a special rate for
And
him.
that's because you got almost.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, you just have to know how to talk to, to the hotel people. So you can also get the, the
What?
rates. I'm good at that. So
I was going to say,
Go
you
ahead.
got him a special rate, and you stopped me as if I'm divulging information. You got mom and dad special rates on their travel and a lot of things.
I also
but
do that professionally. I
we would-
manage tours.
Yeah, that's why she gets. I mean, that's why she knows what she's doing when it comes to organizing tours and travel. And we were going to do a video about mom and dad, how much they spent, because it was surprising the amount of money they spent. Surprisingly low, actually, for everything that we did. And what I would say is the problem with that is people think that us giving like the prices of how much we spend or on these things, it's going to help them and give them. I know they think it's going to give them a gauge or a guide so they know what to expect. But the bottom line is other people aren't going to get it at that price. And the reason they're not is simply because of you, because you know what you're doing and you negotiate those deals and all that and make travel as easy, smooth as possible and as cheap as possible. And not anyone can get those deals. You're a professional in the tourism industry and you're just good at dealing with people. So when there's a problem, like when we were on the boat and that those other guys wanted the room to take the room away from us, like I just said, I just told mom and dad, we're just going to let Imabelle, we're just going to hang back and let Imabelle take care of this. Everything is going to be okay. I have complete confidence in Imabelle. And you took care of things. And other people aren't going to have these experiences because they don't have you. And, like I said, you do this professional. You have special skills when it comes to dealing with people. You're smart. You work hard. When it comes to doing this, you put in the necessary effort. You're not meaning you're not lazy. And then other people, they'll come here and they think that they can have the same experience and the same prices, but that's not how it works. You have to have someone special like you. It's not something that just anyone can do.
Well, thank you very much, Travis. Well, I really make it a point that, the guests would have a hassle-free, fun, safe experience. So that would be like his or her trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, you really make, when you do people's trips for them, you really make it special. So it seemed kind of silly. People were like, "Did Tom have a good time?" Of course, Tom had a good time. He had an amazing time.
Yeah, and that boat incident that you were talking about, you can actually see more of that on one of the travel vlogs with mom and dad.
I have a playlist of my
Travis's mom
parents'
and
trip.
dad. Yeah, yeah, we're getting a lot of messages here.
They're
And-
discussing the Pacquiao fight now, but we discussed that at the beginning of the
yeah.
broadcast and they missed it.
Okay, let me say this. We would really love to read all the messages, the comments that you're leaving right now. So if ever we miss any of these, sorry, but we just want to tell you that we are really, really appreciate a lot what you're doing and just for joining us, and we love you.
Yes, thank you guys for joining in, spending some time with us as friends. I think people don't say thank you enough in society. I'm very, I don't like to take things for granted, and I always like to try and even sometimes if you have to force yourself to think about what can you be grateful for. And just when people are cool, man, just say thank you. It's not something that's said enough.
True. I'm trying to send a message to Tom because I'm not sure if
He's messaging, he wants to chat, but we're already chatting with these guys.
Yeah. I just want to check if we could call him while we're doing the live stream right now. We can call him later. And what else did I want to share actually?
You wanted to talk about who Scott Baio is endorsing for president, because what you don't know about Imabelle is she is the biggest Scott Baio fan in the world. She used to have a picture, a poster on her wall of Scott Baio in Speedos.
You don't
looking
really,
all
you
young
don't
and
really
ripped
believe
during,
everything that Travis
during
says
like the
just
late
that.
70s, early 80s, the Happy Days era when he was doing it, pre-Charles in Charge. But I guess we won't
I'm not
discuss
that
that. Maybe it's a little too hardcore, and maybe Scott Baio's political views are a little too controversial for people to handle.
I want to talk about Donald Trump. It's so political, huh?
Well, you've been talking, and you have a video coming up to your YouTube channel, and we don't want to spoil it.
I know. Speaking of my YouTube channel, I got a few messages asking me when am I gonna be back and upload a new video. Thank you guys for, getting in touch and making me feel that, that you wanna see more of, my videos on this channel. I'm going to upload more videos soon. I just have been busy taking care of many things, various things. But I know I have to find time to be on my channel more often. And yeah, I would say Donald Trump. I admire Donald Trump because of his boldness, and because of that boldness, he gets bashed. People hate him.
But your question and what the video was going to be about.
Let me say, but he still, he doesn't give up. He keeps going. Go ahead.
You're concerned with Donald Trump not wanting to allow Muslims into the United States, and you're wondering how is that going to affect someone like you? What qualifies as a Muslim by his definition?
Okay,
how Muslim do you have to be?
Well, I am from a family of both Christian and Muslim background, but I have a Muslim name, of course. So how would that be affected? Would that mean that I would not be able to go to America as well? But
don't let her in, Donald. Don't let her in, President.
But I think the wife of Donald already addressed that question, right?
Yeah, I saw an interview where she said it's not all Muslims, so I don't think you would fall. I don't think that you're a threat to national security.
I would say not all Muslims are bad anyways. So.
Well, I don't think anyone says that all Muslims are bad. I don't know anyone that's ever said that. I think is what they're saying, to be fair, is
I know. Here's the thing,
many are bad enough that we have to be careful
even for
and
non-Muslims,
selective.
there are also bad non-Muslims and good non-Muslims. But what I'm trying to say is there are really people in the world who think that way. That they would just think that Muslims are bad.
They're not bringing their best, folks. They're bringing their criminals, their thieves, their rapists,
from Mexico?
their murders.
That's so unfair.
And some of them are actually good people.
Actually, that's so unfair.
That has a terrible impression.
I'm a Filipino, and
that was the worst Trump impression you've ever heard.
I just don't. The Philippines is not located. It's not in the border, so we couldn't do what some Mexicans do, right? But it just why do they make it so hard for us Filipinos and other nationalities to apply for a visa when all these other illegal aliens, they can just easily get legal.
That's the contradiction of the United States. Here's how you here's the solution, a overly simplistic solution to the immigration process. Make it more difficult to immigrate illegally and make it easier for good people to immigrate legally. That's the solution. Instead, the American government does things the opposite. They make it easy on people doing it illegally, doing it the wrong way, and then the people that are trying to go through the process honestly and try and be legit, they make it overly difficult on those people. So it makes no sense that they reward people doing it illegally and people trying to do it through the legal process. It's like they're punished and they make it so difficult instead of just making it a little simpler and easier on them.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the law, if there are rules to comply with, then it should
But they need
be
to make these rules a little bit easier to comply with too.
I know, because that's the thing. There's no problem with complying and following rules. But what's just so unfair unfair is those who are not following the rules
They
are
get
even
a pass by
favored.
they're favored.
They're favored, like, so hopefully that part would be fixed.
But in American society, I don't know, it's the government and the culture in general. It's politically incorrect to say that people should go through the legal process and we shouldn't be rewarding those that do it illegally. And I don't think that people are against so much the illegal aliens. Because you can't blame people for doing. People are going to do whatever you let them get away with, and of course, if they're going to make it, if it means a better life for them, they're going to do it, whether it's legal or not. And you can't really blame them for it. Most of us, if we were in that situation, we would do it too. But the one that you got to blame is the United States government for creating this system that allows it to happen and actually encourages it to happen. But that's the American government for you, whether they're giving guns to terrorists and supplying the Mexican cartels with weapons, and
that's why they say, huh?
Well, I think some of the stuff is proven in the 1980s, where the CIA supplied guns to the Taliban to fight against the Russians, and then eventually they turned around and started using them on the Americans. So I mean, it would be best, I think, in my opinion, if the United States could just stay out of things that doesn't concern them. They don't need to police the whole world and try and be the white knight of the world. Obviously, if there's a serious threat in another country, then that would require action. But if there's no direct threat to us, the best thing to do, I think, for the U.S. is stay out of it. Don't, save American soldiers' lives that don't have to do it. Save money instead of spending all that money to go over and fight these little countries, or to say we're going to protect these guys. We're going to, we shouldn't take sides necessarily in some of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I hate illegal aliens, because they're also people like us.
Yeah.
They must have gone through, circumstances that,
like I said, it's hard to blame
led them to be in that situation. But what I'm trying to say is, hopefully, it can be fair for everyone. So, and in fact, well, another thing,
it's not fair. That's the problem.
I just want to add this.
But let's be honest. Nothing in life is fair.
I know. So the best thing, the world is just so full of all these troubles, these problems, chaos all around. So it's so hard if you just try to analyze everything and try to think about it. The best thing, well, personally, is to really keep praying. I keep praying about these things. I can't do anything about it. So that's the best thing I could do, I guess. Love. Let's spread some love. And speaking of Donald Trump, another thing why I admire Donald Trump is that he's so tough, he's so bold, considering
and this is not an endorsement from us.
I'm not endorsing Donald Trump.
But she's just saying some things that she sees that she likes.
These are just thoughts. Like, I noticed even for American TV, the shows that I see from US, it's so like politically incorrect. There's this super politically incorrect culture. Like, why is it like that? Like, why do you have to? Why can't you? I say for a white guy like you, why can you not just be? Oh, this is what we talked about. I said
we could almost make a separate video out of this.
I know, but
you can address it.
Yeah. yeah, there was this comment on Travis's Facebook, not on Travis's video on his channel. He was talking about, he said something like, don't get played with Filipinas because things like that really happen. We Filipinas are good people. Not because that's what we know we are, but that's what other people tell.
Some Filipinos
Yeah.
are good people.
Yeah, but just like in other nationalities,
Some are terrible,
some are good, some are
like
bad,
anywhere.
some are nice, some are not nice. But yeah, I said despite unpleasant things like that Filipinos do to others, I still consider myself blessed for being a Filipino. I'm proud to be a Filipino.
You said you're happy to be a Filipina, and then I responded to
exactly.
that in something that I shouldn't say on the air.
And then he said, if he says something like, I am proud to be an American, right?
No, that's not what I said.
I can't exactly
no,
remember.
You said I'm happy to be Filipina.
I'm happy to be
and
a Filipina.
I said, kind of half jokingly, I said, I'm happy to be white. And then I said, but I can't say that out loud.
Yeah,
like I said, it's kind of half joking in a conversation.
Some people could misinterpret that to be racist, right?
Well, it's politically incorrect. But what you said as a response to me after I said, I'm not allowed to say that out loud, what you said is actually kind of profound. But the problem is it kind of involves logic. And the powers that be, it's not about logic. It's about what they've deemed to be bad. Your response to me is, do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I am. What's wrong with being proud for something?
It's not even being proud. I'm being happy.
What's wrong with being happy and thankful for something you're blessed with?
No, that's not what you said.
You tell me.
It's coming out almost racist the way you're putting it.
No, help me then.
You said what's wrong with being happy with the way God made you?
Exactly. Thank you so much.
What's wrong with being happy with the way God made you? And I tried to think, because that's some strong logic. What is wrong with just being happy with being yourself? Like, for instance, do I want to be Filipino? Am I trying to be Filipino? No, man. I'm just happy being the way I am. I'm happy the way I'm born. I don't want to trade nationalities or races or anything with anyone, even people that are there's people that are more successful than me. There's people that have much more money than me. There's people that get to do cooler things than me, that have fancy cars, fancy homes.
Yeah.
I don't want to trade money. I don't want to trade places with anyone in this world. I'm just happy being me. And what is wrong with being happy the way God made you? Whether you believe in God or not, I think the point is what's wrong with being happy to be yourself, just the way that you were born.
Mm-hmm.
But my answer, I had to think about it for a minute, and my answer was, well, I guess it's because a long time ago, some white men did some bad things to people that were not white people. That's because a long time ago, some white people did some bad things to some non-whites. Now, by today's society, we're told that we're supposed to feel guilty about this, and we're supposed to have shame and guilt. And I studied psychology in school. That was my minor. I can't imagine any psychologist that would tell someone, you know what, you deserve to have feelings of guilt and shame because of something that had nothing to do with you, because of something that had to do with people that lived before you were even born. You deserve to be punished. I can't imagine any mental health professional telling someone they should feel guilty, especially about things that didn't involve them. Most of them say, look, even if you did something bad in the past, you should forgive yourself and move on. Don't let it ruin your life. But the modern American society kind of tells us that we're supposed to feel guilty about people that just happen to be the same race as us that did bad things in the past, not even necessarily related to us, unless you're Ben Affleck and it turns out that one of your ancestors was a slave owner, and then you have to go through an elaborate cover-up that eventually leaks out. Hey, I'm not Ben Affleck here, okay? I'm not trying to hide like the sins of my ancestor. That was another story. He had that scandal, but he's Batman again. That was his scandal around then. He had the other scandal with the nanny.
I love him Yeah, for playing Batman.
But the scandal of trying to hide, like, which was a silly thing to hide. It was a scandal actually because he tried to hide that, not because anyone would have even necessarily cared that he has a distant relative that owns slaves, but the fact that he went through an elaborate cover up to try and hide it, to make himself look like he's from this purebred of saints, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think people took the issue with, the fact that he was trying to hide something that if they would have just came out and said it, probably no one would have cared. It probably wouldn't have been much of an issue. And even if it would have been an issue for some people or a news story, so what? They said on that same show, because it was a show on, I think, PBS that does genealogy, they've said they've had other celebrities on. Ben Affleck is the only one that asked them to cover something up for them that they found. And they said they've had other celebrities that did, it did turn out they had ancestors that owned slaves, but none of them asked it to be covered up. None of them, they're just like, okay,
It's
that's what it says.
It's so crazy. Like, why would you have to be judged or condemned because of what your ancestors did?
I think Ben Affleck is suffering from that white guilt, and there's talk that he wants to run for political office someday when he's done acting, so he's trying to hide certain things about his past. And I mean, hiding something that doesn't even have to do with you personally, like that a distant relative from a couple hundred years ago that he shares some DNA with. I mean, I don't think anyone would have really cared. I don't think it would have hurt him. I mean, clearly there's worse. He's made movies like Geely, which are probably hurt him worse than having some distant ancestor that owned slaves, hundreds of years ago. I mean, Geely was only like a little over 10 years ago, and people already forgot about that, but I think that's probably worse, things like that. Or even some of the statements he's made on TV shows, political statements he's made. But that's why, as a public figure, I try and stay away from political statements.
Yeah. Oh, well. Let's see. Let's try to read some comments. And guys, you can talk to each other, and that's good. I'm so glad to see you guys are talking to each other.
What I'm seeing here is there's a lot of support in the comments for Donald Trump. And I'll tell you something, knowing my fan base, that doesn't surprise me. I know, and many of my viewers have actually said they support Donald Trump. Like I said, we're not endorsing anyone, but I understand a lot of my viewers do. And I think a lot of my viewers do because they understand especially some of the issues with immigration more than the average American. A lot of these guys, they marry girls from the Philippines, and then they have to go through all that process of getting them to the United States, paying the fees, paying the money to do it legally, going through the waiting period and the hassles, the interviews their wives have to do or whatever they have to do. And I mean, it's such a hassle and a headache, and they see it as unfair to them, the illegal immigration issue. But I think it's because they see it on a deeper level.
Oh, well, Bruce Cunningham said, Travis for president. Yay.
I'd rather be your friend. I don't want to be your leader necessarily. And if I can somehow inspire you to go out and do good things with your own life and not to do what I'm doing, because we're all meant to do different things in this world.
I know. Mickey Pure said, do you guys support Duterte and running for president? We don't really disclose, this is not a political channel. So what I would say is, I
don't know a lot about it either, the local politics.
Yeah, well, I observe, I listen, I read, and I watch. But as a Filipino, I just really keep praying that would elect great and godly leaders out there. So
I'm not involved with local politics of this country, and they have some laws and rules against some of that kind of stuff, so I'm not going to speak out on it. And I don't even bother following most of it. But I will say this, I do, kind of what I said before, I do think the government here isn't as bad as people make it sound. I think that you need to take personal responsibility for your own country, because no matter what country you're in, anytime you wait for the government to take care of you, I mean, you're going to be very disappointed. You can't have the government solve all the problems in life. And, especially with the pollution issue, the government's not doing that. The government's not littering the ground, throwing stuff in the water, fishing with dynamite, pumping all these fumes in the air with the jeepneys and stuff, like with no like care about it. The government is not doing that, so you can't blame
Driving
the
in
government for that.
undisciplined manner.
If anything, what I've seen from the government on that personally, because the government's had me a couple times work on some of this for them, like with the one video from a couple years ago, they're trying to be proactive about solving these problems, but it's hard when the people won't go along with it. The people aren't educated on it, and they don't want to be educated on it. Like I said, especially if an outsider tries to help them and educate them on it, they say you're hateful, and they'll say you're a racist and stuff. I hear that I'm a racist probably
Actually,
10 times a day.
I think people, they actually know that you're not supposed to throw garbage, but they still throw garbage and trash on the street and wherever they are. They couldn't wait, like at least to maybe like a simple kind of wrapper. You can keep it in your pocket or in your bag, whatever, and then throw it when you see a trash can. Yeah, sad, but we can still start.
You always have to take personal responsibility for yourself and your community. You can't have expectations of the government. This doesn't matter, even if you're in the United States, the UK, Sweden, wherever. You can't expect the government to solve your problem. Now, the government might create some problems for you. I think all governments are going to do that, especially now it's in the news, like what's going on in Europe, and you hear a lot about their government, especially in Germany with like the agenda they're pushing in Germany with they want to be banned for pointing this out, like the censorship in Germany, and like how they're trying to silence opposing views to their government, the great lengths they go through.
Mm-hmm.
And we're even working with Zuckerberg, working with Facebook to make sure certain things are censored because they can't let it get out. They're trying to hide that there's an opposition to the stuff they're doing in their policies. But they have to try and, make it seem that everyone's on board with the agenda of the government in Germany. It's interesting, at Taco Bell last week, a couple German guys stopped me that are viewers, and I didn't really ask them about the situation there. I'm sure they have a different perspective, especially since they have the internet there and the media is highly censored and stuff, and anyone that tries to put information going against the government there is punished for it. You can get in serious trouble for speaking out against the government in Germany and their policies. But it'd be interesting to hear their thoughts since they're there. I'm not there, so I can only see what comes to me on the internet, and it's hard to judge something when you're not there from my perspective. But maybe it's even hard for them to judge because they have such a censored perspective of what the government allows them to see and think and to speak, without getting arrested for speaking out against the government there.
That's true. Well,
with Angela Merkel.
Mm-hmm.
And Pope Francis doing their agendas, and just think, Pope Francis. Speaking of Donald Trump, Pope Francis spoke out against Donald Trump. He said that it's unchristian to put up walls because Donald Trump wants to build a wall and secure the border. Imagine that. I know it's pretty crazy. A leader securing the borders of his country. That's just hateful, obviously. But Pope Francis said that's unchristian and denounced Donald Trump for wanting to put up a wall. Well, first of all, Pope Francis, is what I would say is, if you're not going to secure your border, what's the point of having a country? And by the way, Pope, if I try and sneak into Mexico and the authorities catch me, do you think they're just going to say, oh man, it's cool, we're Christians, just do whatever you want, we don't need you to come in legally, we don't need to keep track of you? That's not going to happen, Pope Francis. By the way, Pope Francis, have you seen your country, the Vatican? The place is surrounded by a wall and guards. You're not just letting people come and go as they please either. So isn't it quite hypocritical, Pope, that you live in a country that is actually surrounded by a wall with guards? Maybe you should open your borders to the Vatican, Pope, before you start talking about our stuff. So that's just food for thought, that Pope Francis is a political puppet and a hypocrite. Maybe that's political and controversial to say, but my goodness, can he not hear himself speak about he's against a country putting up a wall, yet his own country, the Vatican, has a wall and guards surrounding it. That should be obvious. Or you see him out in his car, he's underneath the glass. I mean, maybe if he was a real Christian, he would believe that God would protect him so he doesn't need to hide behind the bulletproof glass. So, but, you know, the times that we live in, unfortunately, the media is going to be highly censored. They push, even on the internet, you know, some of these large companies, Google, or they push certain agendas and they want to silence opposing opinions. And I don't think that's really a democracy. I think that opinions, even if you don't agree with them, you know, let them get out and discuss them and let people have their own personal beliefs instead of, you know, people believe the Pope has a lot of power because there's people that believe that he's God's messenger. And, you know, when he sends out these, they're not godly messages, they're political messages. Let's be straight. It's not a Catholic message. It's not a Christian message. This is a political message and a political agenda. So that's what I would have to say. I mean, you know, you might love Pope Francis and stuff, and I understand all that stuff, but you know, I think at least on that issue, it's very hypocritical to say something like that. And you don't have to like Donald Trump. I understand if you don't. You can like Pope Francis or whatever. That's all fine. We can all like different things and have different opinions, but you know, when you come out so hardcore about Mickey Peer is talking about the Illuminati. I guess that's kind of what it sounds like what I'm talking about, the stuff with Angela Merkel and the Pope and stuff.
Mickey Peer said Illuminati are the beasts that control everything behind the scenes, controlling corporations and etc.
Jean-Claude
Thank you for sharing that, Mickey Peer.
And Jean-Claude Van Damme had a viral video a couple weeks back where he talked about, I guess, what the so-called Illuminati or whatever, mainly about like the few controlling families with the banking system and stuff like that. And some people thought he's insane. I actually thought he was insane before seeing the video. After seeing the video, it was in French and it had to be like translated. But it made me seem like, oh, dang, Jean-Claude Van Damme, he knows what's going on, definitely more than most, as you would expect, because he was a Hollywood insider.
Yeah.
So he's around some of the richest, most powerful people in the world, even world leaders when he travels to other countries and stuff. I think that he knows what's going on, and but he went viral. A lot of people gained new respect for Jean-Claude Van Damme when he did that talk. Because I would have never thought, but maybe that's why he left Hollywood. We were just watching one of his movies on TV the other week, and he was supposed to be in the Philippines. It was a newer one, not like one of his classics, but he was supposed to be in the Philippines, and they would show like footage of the Philippines, but then whenever they would show him on the street, it was clearly someplace like in China, and it was clearly not the Philippines. They were faking it. The movie, I guess, was called Pound of Flesh.
That was it? I can't remember the title.
And for a newer action movie like that, it was a decent movie, I suppose. But the problem is that type of movie, I feel like it's something that would have been cool in the 90s. But in today's climate, in today's what people have of expectations for movies, it seems a little silly where the guy's going to come out and beat it. He's got like the scene where he walks into the bar. So cliche. He goes into this bar and he beats up everyone in the entire bar. And then there's one guy sitting there, and then he gets up and he's like, after watching Van Damme beat up like 20 guys in this bar, he sits there, watches, then he gets up and he's like, okay, I guess I'm going to give it a shot. And then he tries to take on Van Damme one-on-one and gets completely destroyed, of course, like easy. But that's only a movie thing where you see the hero beat up all these different guys, and then there's one guy that's like, after watching, he's like, well, I guess I'm going to give it a try too. Like, who would do that in real life? If I saw a guy do that in real life, the last thing especially if I don't even I don't even know the guy, he's a stranger like in the movie, I'm not going to get up and just say, oh, I want to see if I can beat him too. I'm just going to stay there and be like, okay, you can go now. Like, I'm just going to hope they don't pick me out and notice me if I see a guy do that. No, but only in a movie will one guy watch a guy beat up an entire room full of guys and then say, I think I'm going to give it a shot too.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I noticed something. It said Christopher Hill. The process of bringing Pinoy to America is horrific and expensive and a long process, but worth it in the end. Liam C. Is that
Yeah,
Liam C?
sometimes to get what you want in life, it involves money, kind of like we were talking
And
about. We need,
time,
yeah, time, money, effort, all these things.
patience.
To get anything, to get anything in life worth having, it takes time, money, and effort. It takes all of those things, and he says it's worth it, and I believe you. That's the
And
way
when
it
we
is with
go through
anything.
these things, you know, we actually learn from these things. We get better
Could
people.
be, yes.
We could be stronger, and yeah. Anyways,
We walk away with a better understanding somehow.
exactly. That's true. And when you look back, you say, "Oh, that's I've gone so far, and I've made it. I overcome them."
Here's a question. Do you guys like the new Batman v Superman movie? I don't like the Superman that I saw there because he lacked charisma, but the intensity was there. Yeah, like it was a weird movie because some things were done very well, other things were done very poorly.
Hmm.
The number one criticism of the movie seems to be that it was uneven,
Hmm.
meaning some parts were really good and what you'd expect, then other parts they drag on.
Yeah.
A lot of the movies actually kind of boring at parts, which you wouldn't expect a movie like that to be boring, but somehow they made it boring and kind of generic.
Hmm.
But yeah, and they made Superman kind of an unlikable in these last couple Superman movies. They made him tough and gritty in a way which is good. They made him a tougher Superman. But what's bad is in the process they did make him unlikable. No charisma. The guy doesn't seem like this Superman is like the first Superman that seems like he doesn't even care about people. Like he just saves them because saving people is in the script. He doesn't actually like people. If anything, this Superman seems like he has a chip on his shoulder and dislikes people, but the script says he has to save them, so he goes and saves them just because, that's the scene in the movie. But they've made Superman unlikable, uncharming, uncharismatic, and I know it's hard to balance, having a guy be tough and somehow be very charming at the same time. Having a guy that's charming, sensitive, caring, as well as a butt kicker at the same time, that can be tough to pull off. But definitely, it's not working.
Well, after watching I like the movie, but after watching the movie,
I didn't really like
I
it that much.
wish, I wish Superman could have, could have
Superman's
could
not
have
in the
shown
movie
his
very
passes
much.
to shine, shown, shown more. I wanted him to shine more, but I like Ben Affleck as Batman.
He was surprisingly better than what you would expect. The thing I liked the best, I think, was the Batman costume. And all the parts with Batman were good, and the movie's mostly about Batman. Superman's not in it that much compared to Batman. But the thing I liked most about it actually was the Batman costume. I think that this is by far the best Batman costume that we've ever seen in a movie, at least of the modern movies
Hmm.
since 1989, because it looked exactly like what you'd expect to see in a comic book of Batman. At least the way Batman's done in the modern comic books.
Yeah.
That's straight out of that, the look of it. The things I didn't like was now Batman murders people and he has an irrational fear of Superman because he could be dangerous, so we should kill him. Even if there's a 1% chance that he might be bad, we have to take it as an absolute certainty and just kill him. Like, what's this murderous maniac? That's not really Batman. Batman's not supposed to use guns. He's not supposed to murder people, let alone, even though Alfred's there too, because Batman does murder some people, and he's obsessed with wanting to murder Superman, even though Alfred's there saying, actually, this Superman guy, he's on our side. And Batman's like, no, even if there's a 1% chance, we have to take it as an absolute certainty. Now let's go kill him. That was un-Batman like to me. That he's
Hmm.
now a murderous maniac when you think about it.
There was
But I
just,
like the costume they had on him.
I know, part of the plot that I was wondering, like, did they really need to include that? Lois Lane had to, talk to some people in the government and try to prove that Superman was not guilty of whatever they were accusing him of. But there was no like.
Yeah,
They
especially
didn't really
since those
solve
guys
that in
were.
the end. Like, was that really necessary? I thought I was like thinking, oh, so that could lead to like making them know that Superman was not guilty of what
Well,
happened in
they should
that
know
scene.
that Superman, common sense would say Superman's not guilty of killing those guys because they died by bullets. If I find bodies that are riddled with bullets, I don't think, oh, well, Superman must have did this. Superman
No,
must have showed up
I
and
think
shot everyone.
because I think it was triggered by his, arrival going there. So that's why they had to shoot. I don't know.
Unless they're
Anyway,
blaming him for the incident getting escalated.
yeah,
But
yeah.
even that's like a far
But I
stretch.
don't know why Lois Lane
It's
had
kind of
to
like
do that. And it
Superman.
wasn't really
It's kind of like Superman is Donald Trump in the movie where he has to take blame for any incidences of violence happening, whether he had anything. Like if there's riots in Chicago, well, this is all Donald Trump's fault. He instigated. Like what? No, it's the fault of the people doing the rioting. Actually,
Yeah. Hold on. I saw an interesting comment here earlier. From William C2099. Travis should buy the new Superman costume, and then he said, an Imabelle Wonder Woman costume. Actually,
she has a Supergirl costume.
yeah, actually, Travis is Superman. He was Superman of Lindsay Lohan for Harper's Bazaar, and he's actually Superman. Look at him. Yeah, he even had this event where he was also Superman in a motorcade. People just really went crazy, and everyone is so happy about that. This is actually on a video on the channel as well. But the Lindsay Lohan shoot of him as Superman with Lindsay Lohan.
That was a photo shoot
Yeah,
for
that's a
Harper's
photo
Bazaar
shoot.
magazine.
So there was no video of that time.
Yeah, I actually just started doing videos then, but I wasn't vlogging. I've been vlogging for a little over 2 years, doing this life vlog that's not so formal. All my old videos, they had to have a concept to come up with, and it was always hard to come up with ideas. But I started vlogging a little over 2 years ago, and I'm not sure exactly when I heard the concept of vlogging, like because the word vlogging is kind of evolving. What constitutes a vlog? It used to be associated with someone in their bedroom just talking to the camera, but now when people say vlogging, he's a vlogger, usually they mean they go out with the camera and they do things and show them doing things about their life. I'm not sure exactly what year I heard the concept of that. Maybe it was like 2012 or 2013 where I saw someone doing it, and I actually liked the way it was done. Well, the first thing I saw was the Dana White vlogs, and I thought that was really cool. But of course, he had a camera crew following him around, and then they would upload kind of these roughly edited, somewhat raw vlogs, but they were extremely fascinating, and I liked that. And then after that, I guess what kind of inspired me more after seeing that, because I saw that and I thought someday I'd like something about this. The first vlogger that I saw where someone walks around with the camera and actually records themselves as they were doing it and shares their life was this guy out in the Seattle area. And he's the first one I saw and that I thought was watchable, that wasn't bad. And then I thought, I'd kind of like to start doing this about myself, but I didn't have the right equipment because I had more traditional video cameras. And then we had the burglary where all my gear was stolen. And then Canon sponsored me by loaning me some gear. And one of the things they did was that Canon Vixia Mini, which is designed for vlogging. And then because of that, I could start my own, and I started my own. And like I said, I try and treat it not as a typical vlogger, but as documentary films, each one.
Yeah. Hi to you, Chris Bartlett. He's also here joining us on a live stream. Okay.
From Australia.
Yeah, but he's based in Cebu, I think. Well, trying to can you try to help me move so we can see the other comments? Yeah, well, guys, how are you now? I'm not sure what time it is wherever you are, but for sure, if you're in the Philippines, it's in the afternoon. So I'm not sure if you're feeling sleepy right now or.
I'm feeling hungry because we haven't eaten yet today.
Yeah, but you know what? We just really appreciate you guys a lot for joining us here, and I'm not sure if everything, all of this entire live stream is being recorded well and completely.
But the
So-
recording will be up, and we got to call my cousin Tom, so I think we should wrap it up. It's been interesting spending this time and talking with you guys, though.
Very much.
And I'm really thirsty.
I think you have to, okay, do you have to get up and get something? Or we should just say bye-bye
Keep talking,
soon?
and I'll grab it.
Okay. Well, let me see. I also got Bruce Cunningham asked, you ever hear of Mark Anthony Fernandez, Philippine star, his cousin, my buddy here in Oregon? Yeah, of course, he's still active. In fact, Travis also worked with Mark Anthony Fernandez on a TV show. That was when? Was it last year or 2 years ago? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah. Wes, we do know Mark Anthony Fernandez, Bruce, and Mark Arroyo. Oh, okay. In Canada, it's 4:57 a.m. Thank you for staying up
Thanks for
late.
staying up.
Or did you just wake up? That's so early, huh? And Lester Servita said 10 a.m. What's BST? B Standard Time?
It's a time zone. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, well, Lester,
It's not in
let
the
me know
United
what it is.
States.
And let me see. Oh, Chris Bartlett still in Adelaide, soon to be there in Bogo, Cebu.
It's funny, if you look at the camera, you can see like how the sun is coming in, the sun is going down.
I know. And in our previous, in our past live streams, we actually did them nighttime in the Philippines. So they were like daytime in U.S. and other countries.
It's hard to find a time that works good for both continents.
Yeah. And let me see, are there more comments? Okay. Well, let me just say again, thank you so much to all of you for joining us and for watching the videos. If you haven't checked out all the videos yet, go ahead, enjoy all of them, and thank you for leaving a comment. Thank you also for subscribing, and congratulations, Travis Craft. The channel already has over 135,000 subscribers and counting.
Yes.
And super special thanks to our Patreon family. And you can also be part of our Patreon family. It is, let me just say it, it's on the description actually, patreon.com/craft. And for those who ask me if I'll be back on my YouTube channel, hopefully soon I can upload new videos. And it's 2 a.m. in Oregon, according to Bruce.
Well, from the Beaver State. Isn't that what they call it, I think?
2 a.m. in LA.
They're on the West Coast.
Yeah. And Chris Bartlett said that British Columbia, I think that was.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. And it's always very nice, refreshing to get in touch with you guys, even if it's online. And
we'll figure out this video in the corner thing for next time.
I know. We're like, it's a small.
So guys, thanks for joining us. We're wrapping it up. We're going to call my cousin back and then grab something to eat. We'll be back soon with vlogs and adventures, and we'll do another live stream soon.
Have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.